As you can imagine, there are a substantial number of countries that are very interested in preventing our information from getting to their population. In countries where there's no freedom of the press, effectively that control manifests itself by virtue of jamming of some of our informational products, whether that takes place on the satellite, whether it takes place locally in the cities and towns where they're trying to prevent that information for making its way through to its citizenship. And if we don't change with the times, then we start losing relevance and fail to fulfill our charter.
My job is Director of Information Security at the Broadcasting Board of Governors. But one of the most important aspects of the job is managing the agency's Internet Anti-Censorship program. We also call it Internet Freedom. Let's say you're in a country that restricts the news to only favorable news by the government. In China, for instance, you can't read about mine accidents or floods or corruption trials or anything that's embarrassing to the local government. Contrast that with the United States, where we get a lot of news that's embarrassing about the government, but it's a free and open press. On the other hand, in China or in Iran, news is highly restricted to only put their governments in the best possible light.
It used to be a kind of a popular conception that there was not much you could do about the jamming of satellite signals, but we thought out of the box on it a bit and came up with a number of techniques that allowed us to try to get around it, circumvent it, make it more difficult for the governments to jam those signals. My job is to get the signals from those studio locations, wherever they happen to be. Some of them are local here in DC, some of them are in other countries, and get it out to the ultimate listening audience.
So what our tools that we develop, our software tools do, is allow users in regimes of China, Iran, Vietnam, many other countries, to be able to reach outside their countries and get information by dissident groups, news organizations, the Voice of America, Radio Free Europe, Radio Free Asia, or any other source that the user may have interest in seeing. There's a lot of people saying a lot of bad things about the United States. Our job is not to say good or bad things. It's allow both sides of the story to come through.